death, the destroyer of worlds.
This is an historical biopic about the real-life man, J. Robert Oppenheimer, the man who was part of the Manhattan Project and who built the atomic bomb to win World War II. So I'm not going to talk like I know anything about the scientific nature behind this film. I just know that this is based off of a book called American Prometheus, The Triumph and Tragedy of J. Robert Oppenheimer, which I have not read.
Are we saying there's a chance that when we push that button, we destroy the world?
Chances are near zero.
Near zero.
What do you want from theory alone?
Zero would be nice.
The world will remember this day.
It's about a man, and this man has an obsession. And his obsession ultimately cost him a lot of things. It cost him his relationships with friends, with family, with loved ones. It alters the course of his life. And I believe that Cillian Murphy gave a phenomenal performance as the title character of this film. And going off of that, this film has a stacked cast. Like, anyone you could probably think of is in this movie. I was surprised by the numerous star power that we have in this film, like left and right. There's this person, there's that person, and everyone brings their A game. No one comes to the table to play around. They all bring their A game, they all have their time to shine, and all the performances all across the board are phenomenal.
A lot of things you do in the beginning is about experimenting and see where you can take things.
Music also plays a big part in this film. The music, like there's a scene in this film where Jason Clarke is talking.
You felt your judgment was sound on who on the team could be trusted.
And they're just having a normal conversation of dialogue, but then the music intensifies the experience, putting me in the position of the main character. Because throughout the course of the film, the main character, J. Robert Oppenheimer, has these visions. He has these visions that lead him to his ultimate destiny. And watching this film and seeing how everything progresses, it intensifies with the visuals, with the images, with the situations between the characters and how they build their relationships and how their relationships fall apart. I do believe that there is a few heavy-handed moments here and there. Like there's a scene between Cillian Murphy and Emily Blunt. They have a child together. And there weren't really many scenes with the kids. We don't learn anything about the kids, but there is this scene where they have their first child and Oppenheimer goes home to see his wife, Emily Blunt, and the kid is crying in the background. It's a really well-constructed scene, great performances, but it's a little heavy-handed because Emily Blunt stands up from the table. Oppenheimer says, "Are you going to take care of the kid?" And Emily Blunt has water in her eyes, and she looks all intense, and she just looks dead at the camera and says, "I've been watching him, or I've been taking care of him all effing day." And then she just turns around, we get a wide shot, and she grabs a bottle of liquor and just walks away. And that alone illustrates how their relationship is. Oh yeah, there's a lot of friction in their relationship. And so what's the best image that you can show? There's a kid crying, and there's this person who has this intense look on their face, and they grab a bottle of liquor saying, "I'm not going to tend to the kid." So just little stuff like that, you know, kind of. It didn't bother me. It just felt a little heavy-handed.
Why? How about because this is the most important thing to ever happen in the history of the world?
Ultimately, I feel like this is a great movie. It's a great experience. It's 3 hours long. And you feel the 3 hours. Like, while I was sitting in my seat, my butt was hurting. But this movie is really good. I think the visual style of it is artistic. The performances all across the board are phenomenal from everyone. I would not be surprised if a few people here get nominated for Academy Awards.
He and his fellow scientists couldn't completely eliminate the possibility that in triggering that, they might destroy the entire world. But they went ahead and they pushed that button anyway. And that, for me, that's the most dramatic situation I have ever heard of.
I will say that I believe Christopher Nolan belongs on the Mount Rushmore of filmmakers. Like, you want to look at guys like Steven Spielberg, who was revolutionary, and Stanley Kubrick, people like those people who were revolutionary in film. Christopher Nolan's one of those guys. He's definitely up there with like Steven Spielberg, Stanley Kubrick. Christopher Nolan is there. And if you weren't convinced in the past, then I'm pretty sure this straightforward biopic film will convince you that Christopher Nolan is a good storyteller and a great filmmaker. That's all I have to say.